I'm from here.
I'm from Maidstone, but we both studied at UCA Rochester, so that's where we met. So it feels fitting to do our first proper show where we're from.
Did you? Were you in the same class at UCA?
Yeah, in foundation. Yeah.
The fine art group.
Yeah.
Fine art.
Fine art.
So it's come a long way since then.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
it was.
Was
it? Yeah,
fine
yeah.
art.
Were you friends at that point, or?
Acquaintances, I'd say.
So how did you come to start working together? Like, did you see that back then, or is this like more recent?
So when I started, I feel like when I started gigging around London, so like years after UCA, Daisy would pop up at like random shows that I'd be playing in London, like before the band had ever done well, and I'd be like, oh, how comes you're here? And she'd be like, I've come to watch your band, I like your music. And I was like, oh, right, cool. Yeah. And that instantly like sort of stood out, and then we just made a friendship. And then when I moved to London, I was looking for an art space, and Daisy was at Goldsmiths studying, and I was like, can you help me find an art studio? And then she was like, I need an art studio too. And so we ended up sharing one, and then we did a painting together, and then never looked back really.
Yeah, I think we both use like quite bold imagery and text, you know, and our work's quite playful, but there's this like sorrow underneath it, you know, it's like not quite as joyful as it seems. So I think like our work naturally works together. And
in the early days, I think colours was like, I'd see colours Daisy was using and go, oh, I need to find a colour that looks like that. And and used to walk into our studio and it would just be like vibrating with how much colour was everywhere. And then from that, like I've been inspired by Daisy's like mark making and using more oil paints and the texture. So it's quite, our like collaborations actually like influence our personal work and help us develop. I think we've got a lot of trust in each other, and I think there are some things that are off limits. Like there are certain things that within our own paintings that we know are just ours and that they shouldn't be like diluted maybe. But there are other areas and other little bits that we do that have room to explore.
Yeah, we're quite playful with it and like encourage each other to take risks, you know, because in your own work it's really easy to just get stuck in the same cycle and make safe painting. But when we come together, it's like if I'm scared to do something, Laurie's just like, just do it, and if I mess it up I know he can fix it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you bounce off each other in that way. Yeah, and you sort of like things in each other's work that they might not see in their own work. So I'll be like, sometimes you'll pre-plan a painting with Daisy's bits as well. Like I'll see like that should go there, and I'll go, Daisy, could you put that there? And she'll do the same to me. She'll be like, right, you need to put that on that bit. And it's quite, because we've got these recurring patterns and motifs, like it is quite easy to work together. But I think you have to be a certain type of person to collaborate. I can imagine a lot of artists wouldn't be able to comfortably do it. You have to be not too precious as well. Yeah, definitely. It's a strange space of like, there's no rules, which is really bizarre. But I think you make strong work. Yeah, and you really like what the other one's doing, and then sometimes they'll stray down a path and you're watching it going like, whoa, 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 and then it's exciting though. Like it's actually like not being fully in control of your own painting is a really cool thing. And it means you can view it as an outsider as well, you know, like with a bit of distance, and you can be quite aggressive and not scared to just get rid of bits. Like if I've painted something, sometimes Laurie will be like, nah, let's black that out, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Because it works. The piece is going to benefit from it. So there is a bit of negotiation then? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but we're both relaxed. Like, yeah. It's like not a stressful thing or competitive thing, is it? No, and we tend to give each other space. So like there's tons of materials. We're really lucky that like we've got, like, we share my studio space when we're painting, and there's just tons of stuff lying around, and Daisy will have like wedges of paper and there'll be canvas, and so when one of us is doing one thing, the other one can start something else. And we do have pieces of work that just don't happen, and then you get halfway through and
it's not like we've put everything that we've done in. This is like a selection of our best stuff. Because sometimes you get halfway through and you're like, this just hasn't happened.
Not going anywhere.
I think there was one session about a year ago where we did 3 or 4 paintings, and I think only like one of them made it through over there. And I think we did like quite a lot of stuff that didn't work. We'd had a run of doing like really great paintings that we loved, and I think that energy and excitement sort of made it hard to continue. You have to there has to be good for there to be bad, and vice versa. So it's just, but like painting together is like it's just fun for us because it's like it's not our main thing.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like some collaborative projects are only for a set time limit, and I think we've learned that this is going to continue and has been continuing for years. So like because sometimes we only get like see each other like twice a year or something to paint, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. We know if we don't get pieces finished, we'll finish them when we get time.
There's never been any. It's nice to have something that happens this organically and there's no plan. We just made paintings because we shared a studio. Then some of them were really great, and I was like, I'm going to include them in my show if you don't mind. And they were the ones that sold. And then later on, it was like, we're just doing paintings as we enjoy it. And then we're like, should we put a show on? And then when you see the show up, you're like, yeah, maybe we should just keep doing this. But first and foremost, we're just friends. And this is like something fun that means that we get to see each other and hang out.
It's funny though, I'm like really messy in my work, but in these pieces, I'm sitting there for hours painting like intricate patterns, repetitive hand painted patterns. And it's like, that's the role I sometimes play in these pieces, and I would never do that in my own work, you know? But I can do that in this work, and
the same vice versa. I think that's also the thing that's been really like great for me is this process of working together is like the neat sort of more maybe comic aspects of my work are sort of can be misinterpreted as fun, whereas actually they're like trying to like point at the sort of comedy of life and the like anguish we all go through. But Daisy's work's more brutally honest, and I think it's good to work together because then I learn how you can be like that with your work, and I've ended up making the more like thick textures sometimes. And yeah, it's fun. I was watching earlier, like Matt was trying to guess who'd done some bit, and he was like, did you do that bit? And I was like thinking, I did that bit. And so you know that we're getting there, like we're developing as like, I like the fact you can't always tell now.
Yeah, we have to walk away sometimes. We're like,
we usually have the same opinion though, I think. I don't think we've ever like disagreed on a piece too.
No, I think it's that thing of like growing to love a piece over time, giving it time, because there's all this like now, everything's got to be now, but things take time, and like obviously painting's like a really personal journey anyway, so it's like, I don't know.
That's what's also great about this show is because we knew we were doing the show and we wanted to keep the work fresh. Like some of the work's been there for ages, but it's not. We've like consciously like not posted it all online and keeping it for like the real world, like real life interactions. Like we want people to come and see the texture and not just see a flat Instagram image. Guitar music.
Yeah, but it goes from any like hardcore punk to like Britney Spears or something.
Yeah, true.
You sure you want to admit to that, Laurie?
Definitely.
No judgment.
I've got no guilty pleasures. It's all proud.
Yeah.
We like, and also like just sort of bonding over like childhood bands we loved. Like we listen to Sum 41, and then we'll listen to like the Breeders, or we've actually made a playlist for the Private View tonight that's is basically based around what we listen to when we paint.
Okay.
So it might be hanging out with someone talking about work, and Sum 41 might come on.
So he doesn't make you listen to Slaves all the time?
Never.
I do sometimes. You play me the new songs.
If she wants to hear it.
Which is a joy.
I play Daisy like demos of stuff that we're working on, so she heard like a lot of the new album before anyone else did. But I always double check. I'm like, are you sure you want to? And then I like pause it halfway through, and you get the idea. Like,
When you're painting, is it similar to writing music, or is it completely different? You get that inspiration from a riff, and then you're going with it?
It is similar in the sense of, it's similar in the fact that it's different all the time. Like sometimes inspiration strikes and you know exactly what you want to do and you know exactly how you want it to look and you just go do it and it's there. And that can happen with music, it can happen with songs. And then other times you're just jamming. Like you are just like putting the brush to the canvas and seeing what happens. But other times there's actually a thought out, talked out idea. So that's the main similarity, I reckon. The art has to have a certain value because you can't just give away something that is that precious to you. It deserves a price tag. But at the same time, they'll buy prints, or like some amazing things have happened to me where like someone's 18th birthday present has been like a small canvas where their parents have said, this is going to be your big life present. And that's quite humbling. They're always into it though and interested, and that's why we make the print. And we try with this exhibition's really consciously like there's stages, the prices go up and they're not all just massive, unaffordable, unattainable pieces.
Yeah, I'm really like interested in making affordable, accessible art as well. And I think like, especially like with the digital platform like Instagram, that's possible with like making prints accessible and smaller pieces of work accessible, like for a lower price.
And I think we've both in the past made t-shirts and patches, and that's something I'm interested in, as like making that garment the piece of art as well. But one thing I would say is like my paintings that I own are my favourite possessions. They grow with you and they change every day, and like brushing your teeth in front of a painting and just seeing different marks and knowing that it's one out of one. There's like nothing quite compares to owning art.
Yeah, and another thing, like as an artist, I'm really lucky to have a good art collection because I trade with other artists. So there's like all these sort of like contemporary ways to have an art collection. Do you know what I mean? Like build up your own collection.
I remember when we interviewed you, Daisy, last year, we talked about the link between music and art, and we called you the punk painter. I don't know if you like that or not.
I think it's true. I loved it. I loved reading that piece.
That's my dream, to be that.
Do you think, obviously, there's so many historically musically, like John Squire from Stone Roses has his own art piece. Do you think there is that really close link between the two sort of artistic genres?
Definitely.
Yeah, especially in Kent as well.
Billy Childish. You've got to like mention him, like, because or like writing, like
music, writing. I love like people that do everything. It's like DIY, like do it all yourself if you can. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if you're creative, it's very rare that your creativity gets trapped in one vessel.
I don't know where has that come from that people only do one thing?
Because Daisy plays music too, but she just hasn't. We haven't made our band yet.
It's too weird.
I still find it weird.
It's too weird for me.
How do you deal with that? Do you get used to it?
I just have like little internal like dialogue with myself about it. I find it more comfortable when I'm further away from home, weirdly. I find like it's more stressful when I'm somewhere that knows me. That makes me feel like a fake or something. I don't know, like walking down, like the idea of getting stopped in like Maidstone High Street is like the most scary thing, because it's just like, I don't know, those people know who you are, they might know your aunt. Whereas like if you're in Manchester, it's quite easy to just go, oh thanks, hi, bye. I don't know, yeah, every day is different. I'm a human, so like some days I'm really happy and other days I probably don't give as much as I should. I've walked these streets so many times, like, and specifically like with ex-girlfriends and stuff, and you know, like you're like thinking of the shops you went in together, and like it transports you back, like the ghosts of towns. And Rochester, for me, that is quite like poignant, like where I was at in my life when I was coming to Rochester, because it was a specific time, because I'm not from here, and so it reminds me of like maybe a less happy time, but it's also, I love this town because of it's a beautiful town, and I'm glad that we can add some new history to it.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm having a break for a bit. Yeah. a few months break, and then
World Punk Painter domination.
Start the band.
Yeah.
Don't listen, Isaac.
He can be in it.
Yeah, but he'll have to sit down.
Yeah.
To play drums.
Sit down bassist or something.
What about yourself, Laurie? You've just come off tour. What's next?
I want to go and make stuff, so I'm moving into a new studio which is soundproof, so it's going to be painting and music, and I want to go write a load of songs and do a load of drawings and paintings and be creative.
Perhaps put some of your paintings on your guitars.
Maybe. I don't like the way guitars, they don't have a nice open form to paint on, so it scares me too
Strange
much.
shape.
Apart from, well, obviously, like John's got that Jackson Pollock thing that he
Yeah,
had.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it was just Jackson Pollock, wasn't it?
wasn't
So
Well, thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
shouldn't say it, you should cut that out.
Cheers. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Cheers.